Supreme Commander Kraz Thorn stood tall before the Galactic Council. His scaled skin gleamed under the bright lights of the Grand Chamber. 27 different alien species watched from their seats as he pointed at the holographic image of a blue planet. "This is Sol 3, known to its primitive inhabitants as Earth," Kraz Thorn said. His voice boomed through the chamber. "The Zalaxian Empire claims this world as our next conquest." Murmurs spread through the council. Many members looked bored. Some tapped on data screens. A few whispered jokes to each other. Elder Vixnera raised one of her 4 tentacles. The ancient Arcturian skin changed from blue to a worry purple. "Supreme Commander, I advise caution. Our studies suggest humans are more dangerous than they appear." Kraz Thorn laughed, showing his sharp teeth. "Dangerous? They have barely reached their own moon. They fight endless wars among themselves. They cannot even agree on basic planetary governance." He pressed a button, and the hologram showed Earth's military forces. "Look at their weapons: chemical explosives, primitive nuclear devices, projectile weapons that use gunpowder." He shook his head. "My Empire's smallest scout ship could destroy their mightiest warship." Council member Zorbel, a tall insectoid, clicked his mandibles with amusement. "The Arcturians always see danger where none exists, Commander. How long will your conquest take?" 3 Earth months at most," Kraz Thorn said proudly. "We have prepared 15,000 warships. Their surrender will come within days." Elder Vixnera's skin darkened further. "Commander, our research shows humans adapt quickly. They turn their enemies' strengths against them. They—" "Enough," Kraz Thorn interrupted. "The decision is made. We notify the Council only as a formality. The invasion begins in 14 standard cycles." Far away on Earth, astronaut Gary Mitchell floated inside the International Space Station. He stared at a computer screen, his forehead wrinkled with concern. "Houston, are you seeing these readings?" Gary asked. The radio crackled. "We're getting some unusual data, ISS. Can you confirm?" Gary tapped commands into the computer. "The long-range sensors are picking up massive objects entering the solar system. They're moving faster than anything we've ever recorded." In Houston, Dr. Samantha Wells stared at the same data. Her hands shook slightly as she reached for her phone. "Get me the director. Now." 12 hours later, world leaders gathered in an emergency United Nations session. The large screen showed strange objects moving toward Earth. Military bases worldwide went on high alert. News channels reported unusual signal interference across all broadcasts. In the White House Situation Room, President Frank Daniels looked at the grim faces around him. "What are our options?" General Patricia Rodriguez shook her head. "Mr. President, if these are alien ships, we have no defense against them. Our satellites show they're massive, some larger than aircraft carriers." "Could this be a natural phenomenon?" the president asked hopefully. Dr. Kevin Parker, NASA's chief scientist, pointed to the screen. "No, sir. They're changing direction. They're slowing down. These are vessels under intelligent control." Back in the council chambers, Elder Vixnera activated a private viewing screen. She watched as panic began spreading on Earth. News reports showed people stocking up on supplies. Some fled cities. Others gathered in churches and temples. But she also noticed something the other council members missed. In military bases across Earth, humans weren't just panicking. They were planning, analyzing, preparing. She turned to her aide. "Record everything. The Council believes this will be a simple conquest. I believe we are about to witness something unprecedented." In orbit around Mars, the first Zalaxian scout ships began scanning Earth's defenses. The invasion had begun. The Galactic Council would soon learn what humans already knew. Nothing is more dangerous than a clever species fighting for survival. The sky turned dark as 15,000 Zalaxian warships took position around Earth. Their massive hulls blocked the sun in many cities, casting strange shadows across the land. People looked up in fear and wonder. All screens on Earth suddenly showed the same image: a tall, reptilian alien with gleaming scales and cold yellow eyes. "People of Earth," Supreme Commander Kraz Thorn said, his voice translated into every human language simultaneously. "You are now property of the Zalaxian Empire. Resistance will result in planetary sanitation. You have 6 hours to present your surrender through your world leaders. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, leaving billions in stunned silence. At the United Nations, emergency teams worked frantically. Former Marine Colonel Jack Robinson paced the hallways outside the Security Council chamber. His weathered face showed no fear, only deep concentration. "Colonel," a voice called. Dr. Olivia Carter hurried toward him, clutching a tablet. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, her eyes sharp with intelligence. "They've asked for us." Inside the chamber, world leaders argued loudly. Some demanded immediate surrender. Others called for resistance at any cost. Silence. The Secretary General banged his gavel. "We have appointed Colonel Robinson and Dr. Carter to lead our response team." "Colonel, your assessment, please." Jack stepped forward. "Sir, we can't win a direct fight. Their technology is centuries beyond ours." He pointed to images of the alien ships. "But we need time. I recommend we enter discussions while secretly preparing countermeasures." Dr. Carter nodded. "I agree. My linguistic team is already analyzing their language patterns. We need to engage them in dialogue while we gather intelligence." The Secretary General looked grim. "Do what you must. Humanity's survival is in your hands." In the Galactic Council Observation Chamber, dozens of alien representatives watched the unfolding events through quantum viewing technology. "How long until they surrender?" asked Zorbel, placing a bet in the Council's pool. Elder Vixnera studied the screens carefully, noticed something strange. "There's fear, yes, but the humans aren't panicking as expected." Council member Drellickson, a crystalline being, sparkled with amusement. "What can primitives possibly do against Kraz Thorn's armada?" "Watch them," Vixnera said quietly. "They're testing." On Earth, military bases worldwide had gone into silent running. Instead of launching obvious attacks, they were sending small, seemingly harmless signals toward the Zalaxian ships. Each signal tested different frequencies, different patterns. In a bunker beneath Denver, computer expert Stephen Grant worked with teams from Russia, China, India, and Europe. "Their communication technology is quantum-based," he told the others through video link. "But they're using standard patterns. There's a rhythm to it." Meanwhile, Colonel Jack Robinson stood before a massive screen, facing Kraz Thorn in the first official communication. "We need time to organize our surrender," Jack said, his voice steady. "Our world has many nations. We request 3 days to bring all our leaders together." Kraz Thorn's yellow eyes narrowed. "You have 1 day, human. No more." After the transmission ended, Jack turned to Olivia. "Did you get what we needed?" She nodded, smiling slightly. "Every word he spoke gives us more linguistic data, and our probes recorded their transmission frequencies." Meanwhile, in military bases across Earth, soldiers loaded nuclear missiles onto launchers. Submarines silently moved into position in the oceans. It wasn't a random response. It was coordinated, planned. Back in the council chamber, Elder Vixnera noticed something that others missed. She zoomed in on images of Earth's oceans. "What are they doing in the water?" She whispered to herself, watching the movement of human submarines. "They're not retreating. They're positioning." Zorbel laughed nearby. "1 day until surrender. I've doubled my bet." Vixnera turned to him, her skin now a deep purple of concern. "I would reconsider that wager, council member. I believe we're about to witness something unexpected." 3 days had passed since the Zalaxian arrival. Despite Kraz Thorn's 1-day deadline, humans had managed to delay with requests for clarification, translation issues, and complex questions about surrender terms. Supreme Commander Kraz Thorn's patience had run out. "Prepare for demonstration strikes," he ordered his fleet. "Target their military bases first. Show them our power. On his command ship, a junior officer approached nervously. Supreme Commander, we're detecting energy buildups across the planet. They appear to be preparing weapons. Krasthorn laughed. Let them try. Their weapons are toys to us. On Earth, Colonel Jack Robinson stood in the Global Command Center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Screens showed military leaders from every major nation. It's time, Jack said. They've rejected our last delay tactic. Launch Operation Trojan Horse. Across Earth, missile silo doors slid open. Submarines surfaced just long enough to fire their payloads. Air Force bases launched bombers carrying nuclear weapons. Nearly 2,000 nuclear missiles rose into the sky, all aimed at the Zolaxian fleet. In the Galactic Council viewing chamber, aliens gasped in surprise. Are they insane? Zorbil clicked his mandibles in shock. Nuclear weapons against quantum shields. Elder Vixnera leaned forward, her eyes narrowed. No, they're too organized. This isn't desperation. On the main Zolaxian warship, Krasthorn watched the incoming missiles with amusement. Activate defensive grid. Let their weapons approach to within 100 kilometers, then neutralize them. Record everything. I want them to see their failure. The Zolaxian ships glowed as their energy shields powered up. Their defensive systems locked onto the incoming missiles, ready to disable them with targeted electromagnetic pulses. But in a bunker deep beneath Houston, Dr. Samantha Wells wasn't watching the missiles. She was focused on her computer screen, where lines of code streamed past. The nuclear launch is just a distraction, she told Stephen Grant and their international team of hackers. Their shields will stop the missiles by emitting a specific frequency of energy. When they do, she pressed a key, sending a command to hidden satellites in Earth orbit. As the Zolaxian ships fired their defensive pulses at the nuclear missiles, Earth's satellites captured the exact frequencies and patterns used. Within seconds, this data reached Samantha's team. Now, she shouted. Stephen activated their prepared virus, a complex code designed to ride the very same frequencies the Zolaxians were using to stop the missiles. The virus transmitted through the Zolaxians' own defensive energy pulses, bypassing their security systems. In space, the nuclear missiles detonated harmlessly against the alien shields, just as Krasthorn had predicted. He began to laugh, but his laughter died as alarms blared across his ship. What's happening? He demanded. Unknown code infiltrating our systems. An officer shouted. It's spreading through our communication network. On screens across the Zolaxian fleet, warning lights flashed. System after system began shutting down. Ships lost power, weapons went offline, and communications failed. In the council chamber, stunned silence fell as they watched 3,000 Zolaxian ships, 1/5 of the invasion fleet, suddenly go dark. Impossible, whispered Drellickson. How did primitives hack quantum technology they've never encountered? Elder Vixnera's skin shifted to a deep blue of respect. They used the Zolaxians' own defenses as a pathway. Brilliant. Back on Earth, cheers erupted in command centers worldwide. They had landed their first blow. Colonel Jack turned to Dr. Olivia Carter. Phase 1 complete. How long until they counter the virus? Hours, maybe a day, she replied. Their systems are far advanced, but the virus is spreading faster than they can contain it. Jack nodded grimly. Then we move to Phase 2 immediately. Contact the submarine fleet. In his flagship, now operating on emergency power, Krasthorn's yellow eyes burned with rage. This changes nothing. Prepare all functional ships for immediate orbital bombardment. We will wipe their cities from existence. But in the Galactic Council chamber, Elder Vixnera whispered, and so it begins. Krasthorn stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as engineers worked frantically to remove the human virus from their systems. His scales had darkened with rage. Begin the bombardment, he ordered. Target their largest cities first. New York, Beijing, London, Moscow. Show no mercy. The remaining Zolaxian ships moved into position above Earth's major cities. their weapons charge, glowing with deadly energy. In the Galactic Council chamber, heated arguments broke out among the representatives. "This violates conquest protocols," shouted a blue, gas-filled being. "Planetary bombardment is only permitted after all conventional options are exhausted." "Humans attacked first with their virus," countered another. "The Zalaxians are within their rights to respond." Elder Vixnera remained silent, her attention fixed on the viewing screens showing Earth's oceans. Something was happening there. On Earth, Colonel Jack Robinson received the alert about the Zalaxian positioning. "They're preparing to attack our cities," he told the emergency command team. "It's time for Phase 2. Dr. Olivia Carter looked worried. "The submarine fleet isn't fully in position yet." "They'll have to move now," Jack replied. "We're out of time." In waters across the globe, human submarines that had been hiding beneath the waves began to move. These weren't ordinary vessels. For decades, major powers had secretly developed advanced submarines with technology they kept hidden even from their own citizens. Captain Lisa Martinez commanded the lead vessel in the Pacific. "All submarines, surface and fire on my mark," she ordered through a secure channel. "Remember your targets and use the calibrated frequencies." Across Earth's oceans, 400 advanced submarines surfaced simultaneously. Each carried specially designed electromagnetic pulse weapons, hastily modified based on data gathered from the Zalaxian shields. "Fire," ordered Captain Martinez. The submarines launched their weapons just as the Zalaxian ships prepared to fire on Earth's cities. The pulses shot upward, invisible to the naked eye, but devastating to the alien shields. On his ship, Kraz Thorn was about to give the final bombardment order when alarms blared again. "Shield disruption detected," shouted his second-in-command. "Unknown energy signatures targeting our shield frequencies." The specially calibrated pulses from Earth's submarines hit the Zalaxian shields at precisely their resonant frequency, causing cascading failures. Hundreds more alien ships lost power as their shield generators overloaded. In the council chamber, members watched in disbelief. They had underwater weapons platforms. Drelixon's crystalline body flickered with shock. "How did we miss this?" Zorbel turned to Elder Vixnera. "You knew they would do this." "How?" "I studied their history," she replied quietly. "Humans have always kept their most advanced weapons hidden beneath the waves. Their concept of mutually assured destruction led to secrecy even among themselves. While the Zalaxians struggled to respond to the submarine attack, a smaller mission was underway. Colonel Jack Robinson himself led a team of 12 soldiers in an experimental spacecraft, launching from a hidden facility in Nevada. "Approach the disabled command vessel at Sector 7, Jack told his pilot, Ben Foster. "Their systems are down, but they'll have emergency protocols. We have 15 minutes at most." The small human craft, built with technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien scout ship decades ago, docked with one of the disabled Zalaxian vessels. Jack's team, wearing advanced spacesuits, cut through the hull and entered. "Remember the objective," Jack told his team through their helmet comms. "We need their navigation data and propulsion technology. Nothing else matters." Inside the alien ship, the human team moved efficiently through the corridors. They encountered little resistance. Most Zalaxian crew were trying to restore power. In just 12 minutes, they downloaded crucial data and removed a small but vital component from the ship's faster-than-light drive. As they retreated to their craft, Jack sent a brief message to Earth. "Package secured. Returning home." Council member Drelixon turned to Vixnera in shock. They boarded a Zalaxian warship with their primitive technology. Vixnera's skin shifted to a deep purple. "Perhaps we should reconsider what we call primitive," Council member. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with shouting and arguments. After watching humans successfully fight back against the Zalaxian invasion, many members demanded action. "This conflict exceeds standard conquest parameters," said the tall, tree-like representative from Arborea. "The Council must intervene before it escalates further." After hours of debate, they voted to send official observers to both sides. Council member Trilnak, a six-armed diplomat known for fairness, would meet with Kraz Thorn. Elder Vixnera volunteered to travel to Earth. This is highly unusual, Zor-Bel protested, sending an elder to a primitive world. Vixnera's skin rippled with colors. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our definition of primitive, council member. On her sleek diplomatic vessel, Vixnera approached Earth with caution. Human defense systems tracked her ship but allowed her to land when she broadcast the Galactic Council's official codes. She was met on a runway in Geneva by Dr. Olivia Carter and a small security team. Olivia stepped forward as the alien emerged from her ship. Elder Vixnera, Olivia said with a small bow. Earth welcomes you as an observer of the Galactic Council. Vixnera was surprised. You know my name and title. Your translation capabilities have advanced quickly. Olivia smiled slightly. We've been learning. Please, follow me. They traveled to a secure facility beneath the Swiss mountains. As they walked through steel corridors, Vixnera noticed humans working calmly despite the ongoing invasion. There was fear, yes, but also determination and focus. I would like to see your defensive capabilities, Vixnera said, to provide an accurate report to the Council. Olivia hesitated, then nodded. The Secretary General has authorized limited access. This way. She led Vixnera into a large chamber. The alien observer stopped in shock at what she saw. Hundreds of scientists and engineers worked around pieces of Zolaxian technology. Some were analyzing alien materials. Others were building new devices based on Zolaxian designs. How is this possible? Vixnera asked. You've had this technology for days, not years. Dr. Kyle Watson, the lead scientist, looked up from his work. The basic principles aren't that different from theoretical models we've been developing for decades. The Zolaxian tech just confirmed we were on the right track. He pointed to a partially disassembled Zolaxian shield generator. Their shield technology is actually quite elegant, but has a fundamental flaw in the power distribution. We've already made improvements. In another corner, scientists worked with the faster-than-light drive component that Jack's team had recovered. The Zolaxians use a standard Alcubierre drive concept, explained Dr. Watson. But they're still using traditional quantum folding. We've been developing a dual-phase approach that could potentially be more stable. Vixnera's skin paled to a light blue of shock. You're not just copying their technology. You're improving it. Olivia nodded. That's what humans do. We adapt. We innovate. Meanwhile, across the solar system, Council member Trilnak met with Supreme Commander Kraz Thorn on his repaired flagship. The Council is concerned about escalation, Trilnak said, his 6 arms moving in formal diplomatic patterns. This was supposed to be a standard conquest. Kraz Thorn pounded his fist on the table. These humans are using forbidden tactics. They infected our systems with viruses. They targeted our shield frequencies. They used your own technology against you, Trilnak noted. There is no prohibition against that in conquest protocols. Back on Earth, Vixnera prepared her report to the Council. Her tentacles trembled slightly as she recorded her observations. In my 5,000 years as Council Elder, she dictated, I have never witnessed a species adapt so quickly to new technology. Humans don't simply copy, they innovate beyond the original designs. They identify weaknesses and improve upon established principles that our oldest civilizations take for granted. She paused, then added, I believe we have severely underestimated this species. If the Zolaxians continue their invasion, they may inadvertently create something the galaxy is not prepared for. Humans with advanced space combat experience and Zolaxian technology. As she finished her report, alarms sounded throughout the facility. Olivia rushed in. The Zolaxians have regrouped. They're launching a major offensive. Vixnera's skin darkened. Then we will see what humans do when truly threatened. 6 weeks had passed since the Zolaxians first appeared in Earth's sky. Despite early human victories, the aliens had regrouped. Kraz Thorn had ordered his remaining ships to form new attack patterns and deployed backup systems resistant to human viruses. "Today we crush their resistance," Kraz Thorn told his commanders. "No more restraint. Full planetary assault." On Earth, world leaders gathered in the underground command center. Colonel Jack Robinson and Dr. Olivia Carter stood before them, presenting their plan. "The Zalaxians expect us to use the same tactics," Jack explained, "but we're ready to reveal our counteroffensive." On screens around the room, images appeared of strange new spacecraft, unlike anything humans had publicly built before. They were smaller than Zalaxian ships, but sleeker, combining Earth and alien technology. For decades, governments around the world kept their most advanced projects secret, Olivia said. "After the invasion began, we combined these projects with what we learned from Zalaxian technology." President Frank Daniels looked skeptical. "Can these ships really challenge their fleet?" Jack nodded. "They can. We've selected our best pilots, and we have something the Zalaxians don't expect. In hangars hidden beneath mountains, in underwater bases, and in desert facilities, the hybrid fleet prepared for launch. Pilots checked their systems one last time." Maya Johnson, formerly a test pilot for experimental aircraft, climbed into the lead ship. Next to her, weapons specialist Eric Donnelly monitored the new systems. "All pilots report ready," Maya said through her communication system. "Waiting for green light." In the council viewing chamber, members had gathered again to watch the conflict. Many had bet on how quickly the Zalaxians would finally crush human resistance. "The Zalaxians have adapted their approach," Zor-Bel noted. "The humans cannot use the same tricks again." Elder Vixnera said nothing. She had just returned from Earth and was still processing what she had seen. The Zalaxian fleet moved into attack formation, their weapons powering up to full capacity. Kraz Thorn gave the order to begin the final assault. But before they could fire, the Earth seemed to erupt. From hidden bases worldwide, 300 hybrid ships launched simultaneously. "What are those?" Drelksen asked in shock. The human vessels were unlike anything in the galaxy. They used modified Zalaxian drive systems, but moved in patterns no alien computer could predict. Each seemed to fly according to its pilot's instincts rather than programmed flight paths. Maya Johnson led the first attack run. "Remember your training," she told her pilots. "Don't fly in patterns. Be unpredictable. Their computers can't target what they can't predict." The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, attacking from multiple directions. Some vessels fired electromagnetic pulses at the Zalaxian ships. Others launched physical projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds using alien technology. In the Galactic Council chamber, members watched in stunned silence. "Their attack patterns make no sense," said one observer. "There's no logical formation." "That's why it's working," Vixnera replied quietly. "Each human pilot flies by instinct and individual decision. The Zalaxian targeting computers are designed to find patterns and predict movements." On his flagship, Kraz Thorn raged as his ships failed to lock onto the human vessels. "Target their base in Geneva," he ordered. "Destroy their command center." His flagship moved into position, its main weapon charging. But when he gave the order to fire, nothing happened. "Weapons malfunction," reported an officer in panic. "Systems are redirecting energy to target our own fleet." In her ship, Maya received a message from Colonel Jack. "The virus Eric planted during our boarding mission has activated. Their weapons are compromised." Across the battlefield, Zalaxian ships found their weapon systems either failing or firing at their own vessels. The careful planning of Jack's team and the virus they had hidden weeks earlier was now paying off. In the council chamber, Zor-Bel, who had been most dismissive of humans, whispered, "By the eternal stars, what have we witnessed here?" Elder Vixnera's skin glowed with a deep blue of respect. "We are witnessing the birth of a new galactic power, one that creates opportunity from disaster and turns invasion into innovation." The Zalaxian fleet was in chaos. Their ships fired upon each other due to the virus. Their formation broke apart as captains tried to avoid friendly fire. Nearly half their remaining vessels were damaged or disabled. Supreme Commander Kraz Thorn stared at the tactical displays in shock. His great invasion, meant to be a simple conquest, had turned into disaster. "Shut down all weapons systems," he ordered. "Full communications blackout. Every ship switch to manual control." His orders spread slowly without their usual communication network. By the time most ships complied, the damage was done. The once mighty Zalaxian armada was scattered and vulnerable. In her hybrid fighter, Maya Johnson received new orders from Earth Command. "All vessels hold position," she told her pilots. "Do not pursue retreating ships." Eric Donnelly looked at her in surprise. "We could finish them now. Why stop?" "Those aren't our orders," Maya replied, though she shared his confusion. On Earth, Colonel Jack Robinson and Dr. Olivia Carter stood in the United Nations chamber. Behind them, screens showed the disabled Zalaxian fleet. World leaders watched in amazement. "We have them on the defensive," Jack said. "But rather than continue fighting, we propose something unprecedented." Olivia stepped forward. "We have prepared a message to both the Zalaxians and the Galactic Council." The Secretary General nodded. "Proceed." In the council chamber, members were arguing about whether to officially intervene in the conflict when their main viewing screen activated unexpectedly. A human signal had somehow accessed their secure quantum network. Colonel Jack Robinson's image appeared on the screen. Next to him stood Dr. Olivia Carter. "Greetings, members of the Galactic Council," Jack said. "Earth addresses you directly." Gasps filled the chamber. "How did they access our network?" Zor Bell clicked his mandibles in shock. "That should be impossible." Elder Vixnera smiled slightly. "They had my ship's access codes from my visit." "Clever." On the screen, Jack continued. "The Zalaxian invasion of Earth was unprovoked and unjustified. However, we do not seek revenge. Instead, we offer terms for peace." Olivia began listing their conditions. First, the immediate withdrawal of all Zalaxian forces from the Sol system. Second, formal recognition of Earth as a sovereign system with all rights and protections under Galactic Council law. She paused, then added, "Finally, we propose an exchange of knowledge. Earth will share our innovations on Zalaxian technology, and in return, we request access to the Council's scientific database." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some members shouted about the danger of sharing advanced knowledge with such an unpredictable species. Others saw opportunity in human innovation. Meanwhile, the same message was broadcast to the Zalaxian fleet. Kraz Thorn watched from his damaged flagship, his scales dark with rage and shame. "They offer terms like we are equals," he hissed. "We should destroy their world for this insult." Council member Trilnak, still aboard as observer, raised all 6 arms in a calming gesture. "Commander, your fleet is in no position to continue fighting. These terms are more generous than many conquering species would offer." Back in the council chamber, debate raged. Elder Vixnera finally raised her tentacles for silence. "I have seen Earth firsthand," she said. "They could have demanded much more. They could have continued fighting until the Zalaxian fleet was destroyed. Instead, they offer peace and exchange of knowledge. This shows wisdom alongside their strength." The ancient Arcturian's color deepened to purple. "More importantly, humans will advance with or without our help. Their adaptability ensures this. The question is whether they do so as allies or as a species with reason to distrust the wider galaxy." In Earth's command center, Jack and Olivia waited for responses from both the Council and the Zalaxians. The room was tense with anticipation. "Will they accept?" asked President Daniels. "The Council might," Olivia said. "They've seen what we can do." The Zalaxians are harder to predict. Their culture values dominance above all. Jack looked at the display showing the damaged alien fleet. They have to realize this failed invasion has changed everything, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. 1 year had passed since the failed Zalaxian invasion. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council looked different today. Among the alien representatives stood two humans, Maya Johnson, hero of the space battle, and Professor Alan Murphy, Earth's leading expert on alien technology. "The Council recognizes Earth as its newest member," announced the Council leader, a tall being made of shifting light. "May your world bring new wisdom to our ancient institution." Maya stepped forward to receive the official seal of membership. She wore a simple blue uniform with Earth's new symbol, a planet with wings stretching outward to the stars. In the years since the invasion, much had changed. The Zolaxian Empire had withdrawn all forces from the Sol system. More importantly, internal revolution had swept through their civilization. The military leaders who had pushed for endless conquest were replaced by moderates seeking peaceful trade. "Who would have thought," Alan whispered to Maya, "that our greatest victory would come after the fighting ended?" He was right. Earth had gained more from peace than war. The knowledge exchange with the Council had accelerated human development by centuries. New medicines cured diseases once thought incurable. Clean energy powered cities that once choked on pollution. And human innovations had proven valuable to even the oldest galactic civilizations. After the ceremony, Elder Vixnera approached the human representatives. Her skin glowed with the blue of friendship. "Your world continues to surprise us," she said. "In 1 year, you've built ships that rival those of species who have traveled the stars for millennia." Maya smiled. "We had good teachers, and you improved upon everything we taught you," Vixnera replied. "The dual phase drive your engineers developed is now being adopted by half the Council races." In a quieter corner of the chamber, Dr. Samantha Wells sat with Vixnera's aide. She had traveled to the Council as a scientific advisor. The shy scientist who had helped create the virus that turned the tide of war now helped build bridges between civilizations. "There's something I've never told anyone from the Council," Samantha said quietly. "Before the invasion, we were decades away from achieving faster-than-light travel on our own." The aide's skin darkened with surprise. "But your prototypes were based on studying the Zolaxian ships," Samantha finished. "The invasion actually accelerated our development by at least a century." The aide's tendrils curled with what humans had learned was laughter. "Perhaps we should thank Kraz Thorn then." Across the chamber, the mood was less jovial. Council member Zorbel watched the humans with concern as he spoke with Drellickson. "They advanced too quickly," he clicked nervously. "In 1 year, they've built a fleet of ships that could challenge many council members." Drellickson's crystalline form shimmered. "Yet they focus on trade, not conquest. Perhaps that makes them wiser than us." Meanwhile, on Earth, things had changed dramatically. Cities gleamed with advanced technology. Children learned about alien biology in school. And in a special facility, Colonel Jack Robinson, now General Robinson, trained a new generation of pilots. "Never forget," he told his students, "that our place in the galaxy wasn't given to us. We earned it by standing firm when the universe expected us to kneel." In her private quarters on the Council station, Elder Vixnera reviewed a time-lapse of human expansion. Their ships now traveled regularly between Earth and nearby stars. Their ambassadors formed alliances with species across the galaxy. Their technology evolved at a pace that concerned some Council members. But Vixnera saw something different. Humans brought fresh ideas to ancient problems. They questioned traditions that had remained unchallenged for millennia. They made mistakes, learned, and grew stronger. She recorded her final observation on the human species. "We once feared they would become a threat to galactic stability. Instead, they have become its most passionate defenders." The Zolaxians sought to conquer a primitive world and instead awakened a sleeping giant. Perhaps the universe is richer for their mistake. As she finished her report, Vixnera looked out at the stars and wondered what humanity would achieve in the centuries to come.